But that don't matter. It matters how I leave this life. And I'm gonna leave with a bang, I promise you.
In today's video, we're going to talk about someone who has a long history of insane criminal behavior. From a scam moving company and drug-fueled psychosis to kidnapping and much more. This is Lee Carter.
You better go and get some. I'm getting to the money. Shining and stunning. Ain't no front.
Better known as Viper the Rapper. Some of you might recognize him as a living meme, famous for his bizarre and low-budget music videos. But trust us, there's far more to his story than just grainy music videos and an endless flood of recycled albums. Viper's life is a chaotic whirlwind of delusions, hustles, and controversy, but in recent years, the internet's favorite unhinged rapper has been linked to something far darker than his usual antics. The most shocking accusations against him involve kidnapping, sexual assault, and holding a homeless pregnant woman captive in his garage for over 5 years.
Lee Carter was in court today, accused of kidnapping a pregnant woman and holding her in this room against her will. The woman told police Carter picked her up while she was panhandling in South Houston, then locked her up, raped her, and forced her to take drugs, including pills and crack cocaine, for 4 to 5 years. Court documents don't show if she ever gave birth, and if she did, what happened to the baby.
Not only this, but according to Harris County court records, Lee Carter was also charged with aggravated kidnapping and sexual assault that happened prior to these recent accusations. A Houston Chronicle article states, in the new charge, Carter is accused of kidnapping a different woman July 14, 2021, and sexually assaulting her. Court records indicate this sexual assault happened 10 days after the kidnapping. It's the second time since January that Carter has been accused of kidnapping a woman. We'll get into the details of these two incidents later on in the video, but before we get there, let's take a step back and look at who Lee Carter was before his life spiraled into complete chaos. It's no secret that Viper has always been an eccentric figure. His bizarre music, delusional self-promotion, and erratic behavior were enough to make him a meme. But beneath the surface, the signs of something much darker were always there. Years of incoherent rants and a warped sense of reality painted the picture of a man slowly unraveling. His descent into madness wasn't sudden. It was a long, drawn-out collapse. And in hindsight, the red flags were impossible to ignore. So who exactly is Viper the Rapper? And how did he become the man he is today? While researching about him, we were not able to find anything about his childhood or early teenage years, except the fact that his father was a preacher and he had been involved in gang activities and drug dealing from a very young age. According to his Wikipedia page, his full name is Lee Arthur Carter, and he was born on October 7th, 1971 in El Dorado, Arkansas. His Wikipedia page also describes him as a rapper, a record producer, and even an actor, titles that, at least on paper, seem accurate. While his rap career is what gained him infamy, Viper's ventures into film are a lesser-known part of his story. Back in 1997, long before he became the internet's favorite unhinged rapper, Viper made his on-screen debut in a low-budget film called Fifth Ward, a crime drama produced by his brother, Greg Carter. Someone on YouTube actually took the liberty of compiling all of his scenes from the film into a single 25-minute long video.
What's up, boy? Damn, man, where you get that from? I told you I was rolling hard, boy. And that's just what I made this morning. From selling them guns? Yup. Hey, I still gotta give Bam his cut, but I'll still be rolling. And hell, you could be too. I mean, it ain't like I'm selling a cane. Hell, ain't you trying to make some extra money for college anyway? Yeah, man, but damn, I don't know about that. Remember when my mom was in rehab?
Viper was asked to produce music for the film's soundtrack, and this was precisely when he discovered his passion for trashy music. However, he didn't properly start releasing music till 2003, originally under the name Lee Dog. Despite most of his outsider and hip-hop music videos being really low quality and downright funny, He became somewhat of an originator of what we now call cloud rap.
You're heavily credited with the creation of the genre cloud rap, and your effects predate many other artists. In recent years, cloud rap has become very popular with artists like Drain Gang. Do you have any comments on your influence on rap music over the years?
It's interesting. I've heard of different cloud rap artists, and I'm humbled when people say I kind of created a genre. And it's very humbling when you see, artists like Triple X, that, has like 10 times as many subscribers as you do. But it all boils down to the fact that I was able to create a platform that wasn't there before.
For a long time after his break into the music scene, Viper made it his personal mission to make as many music albums as possible. However, he constantly reused songs and pictures for his album covers. We mean the guy was clearly not putting any effort whatsoever into making music videos. He was just churning out albums, thinking that if he managed to put out a song every day, he would make it big in the industry. In fact, he admitted that he was trying to break a world record.
World record for the artist with the most albums ever of all time, any genre. It's a Guinness Book World Record. I have, yeah.
Crazy accomplishment, man.
Man, I appreciate it. I wanted to leave something for a legacy, But literally, right now, I'm at 1,900 albums. My goal, literally, before I leave this earth, is 6667. Isn't that a weird number? 666, but it's 6667. That's 6,667 albums with 15 songs per album would give me literally a perfect number of 1 million songs, and that's my goal.
Wow. Man, but you're on a good way, man. I think you can do it.
Yeah, I can do it. I'm right now. I'm at, like I say, I'm at 2,000. That's 30% almost. Well, about 28%. If I do, let's say 100 a year, that'd be.
And guess what? Viper also got his album covers designed by people on Discord.
Luckily this is the cool thing about it. I do have a very, very strong support team. I have album cover designers who are constantly making albums for me. So just from that, I haven't had a chance to go on Discord, but I probably got about 2,000 album covers there. I'm going to use all of those. And they're constantly being updated. I'm getting about 3 a day from that.
Viper's goal was simple: produce 1 million songs and become a legend. But instead of quality, he focused on sheer quantity, churning out hundreds of low-effort albums packed with recycled beats, mumbled lyrics, and re-released tracks under new names. To most, it looked like a desperate attempt to stay relevant. But for Viper, it was his delusion in overdrive. And sure enough, one particular album from his 1,500-plus absurd albums became famous in 2013 when someone posted it on YouTube. This album was called "Yo Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack," and it instantly became the internet's favorite meme. If you were not active on the internet back then, you've probably come across this album at some point. You see, Viper was never really very good at rapping. However, he still managed to acquire quite a fan following. One of the reasons people were so invested in his music was because of how insane it was. We mean everything about it. From the bizarre low-budget visuals to the outrageous album titles, felt like it belonged in a fever dream. His work was so unintentionally hilarious that it became impossible to ignore. And back in the golden age of internet absurdity, there was a massive audience hungry for exactly this kind of chaotic, meme-worthy content. If you still don't get why, just have a look at some of these album titles. And these are just a few of them. His entire discography is filled with songs just as absurd. Also, if you take a look at his rap videos, you won't second guess that he was definitely on something while recording them, because no normal person can come up with stuff like this without a little chemical help. Viper claims that he started out dealing clean. However, it didn't take him long to slip into excessive drug use himself. which was quite apparent throughout his internet career.
Shining is a swag, so I'm living it. Money is the hustle, so I'm getting it. Haters wigs hating, so I'm splitting it. And my mashing on comp, got 'em livid. Shining is a swag, so I'm living it. Money is the hustle, so I'm getting it.
Viper wasn't just unhinged in his music. His Twitter rants were a whole spectacle on their own. He would post some of the most absurd, reality-bending takes imaginable. But one of his wildest claims was that the world was about to end. Yes, you heard that right. Viper actually predicted the end of it all. In 2020, he became obsessed with what he called the Great Reset, a cryptic doomsday theory he wouldn't stop rambling about. According to him, June 19th, 2027 would mark humanity's final day. And if you think this was just some passing thought, you are wrong. He was so convinced of it that he even made an entire music video about it. Not only this, but he also had some other insane beliefs. For instance, he thinks that God will give him cryptocurrency in the afterlife.
If they gave us that money, we could go buy cryptocurrency. And we know what we'll do with that cryptocurrency. It would make things more equal. It'll make the world a better place. But you know what? The United States government, aka the Antichrist, refuses to take care of us. So you know who finna give us cryptocurrency? Guess who finna give us cryptocurrency? Take a guess.
I mean, from what you said, it's God, I guess.
That's right. God finna give it. But he might not give it to us here. He might give us cryptocurrency after he blows this place up. It's the same equality, right?
We came across this 1-hour-long interview of Viper, and to say the least, it is the most bizarre thing you will ever hear. He also mentioned 3 things that are going to stop the world from ending by 2030.
You can put this on record. The only thing that's gonna stop the end of the world by the year 2030, the only thing gonna stop it is if they give us all black veterans, they give them their GI Bill money. That's number 1. Number 2, give every black person in the United States they 40 acres and a mule. That's number 2. And I'm gonna think of number 3. Number 3 was just on the tip of my tongue, but I forgot it, man.
Well, it's understandable that he forgot number 3. With so much chaos swirling around in his mind, keeping track of his own absurdity must be nearly impossible. But if you're curious about the 3rd way you can possibly save humanity, he remembered number 3 later on during the interview.
It's unbelievable, you know.
Well, see, here's the problem. Here's the problem. I'm gonna take, here's the other thing. This is number 3, I just thought about it. That racist man that murdered Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, I'm not gonna even dignify his name by saying it, but his name needs to come off every federal government building.
Yeah.
Well, you get the idea. But this is just the beginning of Viper's delusional beliefs. Viper has done some of the most questionable things. For example, wearing tight corsets, hoping that it would somehow crush him to death. I mean, we don't really know what he was thinking, and to be honest, neither does anybody. But he would wear those tightly suffocating corsets all day long, even when he went to sleep. This is famously called the THOD war era in the Viper universe. A THOD is basically short for the harness of death, which consists of multiple layers of corsets that Viper just refused to take off. His goal was to destroy a THOD, meaning that he would wear it 24/7 till it stopped affecting him, and then he would add another layer on top of it after defeating one THOD to reach what he liked to call the next plateau of life journey or something.
I've had a few people been asking about the THODs, so I'm splurging them today. Y'all kind of check them out. I'm wearing all 3. So there we go. 1, 2, and 3. But yeah, I'm gonna wear them today. You know, I'm gonna post up, get this product, gotta get ready.
Honestly speaking, the whole thing seems really stupid. But Viper didn't think of it like that. According to him, it was to make him small and also to absolve him of his sins and to help him transcend his evil, whatever that means. During this time, his tweets were most erratic and weird. He would constantly update his followers about which life journey level he was on. And if for some reason he had to take the THOD off, he would go down to 0 and start his life journey all over again. But if you think this is insane, wait a minute, because things are about to get way worse with the THOD situation. We mean, just have a look at some of his tweets from this time and you'll get an idea. Day 39, Journey 1. I have just ordered 5 THODs, THODs 1 through 5, from TummyTuckBelt.com. 5 smallest women's size belts. Prepare battle to the deaths to THODs. The harness of death, 2 smallest women's sized body wraps, which is smushing my stomach and internal organs to make small. Day 3, I am learning how to sleep with THOD, but the real pain begins at day 5. That's when I've been quitting and having to start over. Death this round? The THODs weren't just a fashion statement for Viper, they were a full-blown health hazard. According to him, wearing them made him so lightheaded and disoriented that he could barely function. At one point, he claimed they messed with his ability to drive, nearly causing him to crash his car. But it didn't stop there. In what might be the most hilariously tragic excuse of all time, Viper insisted that he failed his real estate agent exam because he was wearing not 1, not 2, but 3 THODs at once, as if the sheer power of his own creation had turned against him. He even made this tweet where he talked about how he got pneumonia because of the THODs. Day 2, Journey 2. I have a bad case of pneumonia. I feel like Darth Vader when his limbs were disemboweled. My resolve has never been greater. So not only was he getting pulled over by the police because he was so lightheaded while driving and his organs were basically screaming for oxygen, but he was also getting severely sick because of it, which he thought was somehow making him stronger. But Viper wasn't only a THOD-loving maniac, he was also a businessman. He made quite a lot of money selling his merch, which the customers never truly received. His fraudulent behavior is something that we find the most interesting because it seems like people are not really mad at him even after being scammed. This is probably because Viper, ironically, had a lot of fans and some of them genuinely thought that his music was good. That is, if you listen to the right albums. Knowing this, Viper started selling whatever he could lay his hands on around his house for $49 each. The price is important here, because it started a huge meme called the 49 Bucks family, which was Viper's fixed price for everything, even if it was a broken back vinyl cover of his album. He also claimed that his vinyl albums had a huge reselling value, anywhere from $500 to $50,000 per vinyl.
So, like I say, as y'all know, when you put an order in at rapperviperbandcamp.com, your order is going to be fulfilled and you will receive your product. Again, go to rapperviperbandcamp.com and put your order in on that Y'all Cowards Don't Even Smoke Crack vinyl. It's only for a limited time. It's about to be stopped being sold in June. So you better get over there now and jump in on it and get your order in. Resale value is anywhere from $500 to $50,000 per vinyl. So it's a very smart and wise choice to go to rapperviperbandcamp.com right now and get that while it's still available, because soon it will not be available ever again.
But the orders never showed up for the people who ordered it. And surprisingly, the fans were not mad about this. A user on YouTube even bragged about the fact that he never received his order from Viper. Not receiving ordered merch from Viper is a badge of honor in the fandom, while others who were fortunate enough to receive it recalled how it came broken and damaged. I bought a cassette of You'll Cowards back in 2017 off of Viper's Bandcamp and thought I got scammed because I didn't get it after a few weeks. Lo and behold, 4 months later, I got the cassette in a beat-up package, broken container, and with a second insert from another album. Both inserts were signed, too. However, this is just the beginning of his long list of frauds. The Viper would also constantly schedule shows and sell tickets but not show up for it. He even used his family as an excuse to get people to buy his albums. During the Houston flood, he lied to his fans that his family was starving, even though they had safely evacuated. He asked fans to buy from him because he needed money.
Say, this your boy Viper. I want y'all to please go out there and get that new Viper product online at Bandcamp. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The cassettes, the ones inside right now. They hot, they collector's items. You make sure y'all get that, support that, and that's how we finna do it on the millennium. To that other side, for real, appreciate that. Boy.
Not a lot of people know this, but Viper has a family of 8. He has 7 children and a greyhound dog named King. He also thinks that laying down the rap game will ready his kids in case they choose to go down this path. Also, his son, who is called Cobra, has also started to record his own music.
My sons rap. I got a few sons, they rap. And I wanted to set the bar high for them. So, they have something to strive for in terms of, okay, well, Pops can do it, I can do it, And my daughters too, don't get me wrong, my daughters too. I've had some daughters that have shown interest in the game, and it's crazy because some of my daughters may end up with snake names as well. Cobra, Moccasin, it's 10 boys, so you do the math in terms of the names of snakes. There's so many snakes that can be used. All of my daughters could rap, all 5 of them, all 10 of my boys could rap, all 10 of them, if they choose to. I'm not gonna push them into whatever. And my goal is to make my family legacy and my finances so strong that they don't have to do nothing if they don't want to. But, it's their call, whatever they decide to do. Now Cobra has shown a strong interest in it, and he's actually starting to record stuff now. His surname is Cobra the Associate. So he's really starting to push it, man. So it's just a good thing to see how the legacy is going,
However, the greatest scam pulled by Viper so far has got to be the company he set up with some of his buddies called Free Movers Inc. It was supposed to be Viper's very own real estate company that would help people move for free. However, this is far from what he intended to do with this so-called business. As mentioned earlier, Viper was a certified real estate agent, at least, at some point, or so he claimed. He started this company claiming that he would move people for free. But on the contrary, he scammed hundreds of people. They would take money for the jobs and then never show up. They would also get money from businesses they never even worked with. It was just awful. And to make matters worse, most of his employees were just as dangerous as him. People who have had the misfortune of interacting with his employees say that they were all disgusting and disrespectful, reeking of alcohol. But Viper really thought that this could be his thing. So he tried to list the company on the stock market, making big claims about its growth potential and how it would be worth millions in the future. He tweeted about it saying, "The Free Movers Inc. stock is estimated to be worth 50 cents a share within a year, and you'll be able to sell the stock for $200,000 or more." However, he was denied when trying to list the company, so in retaliation, he threatened to sue the U.S. Exchange Commission for not listing his fraudulent real estate company. Moving on in his story, if there's one thing you should know about Viper, is that he's most furious at the government for one thing or another. He rants nonstop about social issues, religion, and of course, the government. Here's a very good example for you.
The whole White House and all of the government, they running like cows with their tail between their legs because they didn't treat their own right. And now it's taking people from outside of our country to prove and show them how to treat people right. And force them to treat people right. And that's what's happening right now. Russia is forcing the U.S. to treat people right. They forcing the United States to go over there and help them people. And to this, and they gonna force it to the very end. And that's how it should be. If you ain't gonna help your own, let somebody come outside of this country and show them how to treat people.
But guess what? Viper wasn't just a scammer or an angry government hater either. He was also a full-blown creep with a disturbing habit of chatting up underage girls. His already bizarre persona took a much darker turn when a leaked conversation exposed him flirting with someone who he believed to be a minor. The messages, which quickly spread across the internet, showed Viper asking deeply inappropriate questions, the kind no grown man should ever be asking a child. However, the person on the other end wasn't even real. They were a catfish. Yet Viper still took the bait, fully exposing just how predatory he really was. The troll, posing as a 17-year-old girl from Kansas City, Missouri, texted Viper saying, "Dear Viper, I'm your biggest fan. I just wanted to thank you for the inspiration you've given me. I've always wanted to see you live. If you ever do a live concert, I will fly to it. XOXO Kelly." It looks like the person was just trying to thank Viper for what an immense inspiration he has been for her. But Viper, being Viper, immediately started asking her all the inappropriate questions. For instance, what grade are you in, and are you a girl? To this, the catfish replied, saying, I'm right now going into my last year of high school. I live in Kansas City, Missouri. So, to get it straight, she mentioned that she was a high school student right from the get-go. But Viper didn't stop texting her even after knowing this. Moreover, he even asked her if she was a virgin, asking her for her pictures. We're going to read out some of the text that he sent to her. Are you a girl? And if so, can you please send me a pic? OMG, you are adorable. Please tell me you don't have a boyfriend. I'd love to spend time with you too, and I'd make you very happy and very rich. In the meantime, let's make a pact to talk at least every other day and be boyfriend and girlfriend. But you can still go to the prom, LOL, so I don't lose you before it's time to set up your colleges. Deal? When the troll pretended that her father had taken her phone and texted a long, angry message to Viper saying, "Who the F is this? Why are you texting my daughter? She is only 17. Viper came with one of his most iconic responses to date. 17 is legal, Pops. We mean this guy is just completely unfazed by everything. But the concerning part is that he doesn't seem to realize the seriousness of the situation. From what we've seen time and time again in this channel, people like Viper, who gain even a sliver of internet fame, almost always use it to prey on their younger audience. They don't hesitate for a second before sliding into minors' DMs, testing boundaries, and in some cases engaging in full-blown predatory behavior. So when Viper fell for the bait and responded to the catfish with disturbing, inappropriate messages, it wasn't exactly shocking. If anything, it was just another grim reminder of a pattern we've seen play out far too many times. But let's be real, this probably wasn't the first time. The way Viper casually spoke to a 17-year-old without a second thought says a lot about his level of comfort in these situations. This wasn't a one-time mistake or an accident, it was habitual behavior. Also, the fact that he didn't hesitate, didn't second-guess himself, and acted like this was completely normal strongly suggests that he's either done this before or does it regularly. And if this is just the one conversation that got leaked, who knows how many more have gone unnoticed. Knowing that people like Viper are out there freely roaming the internet and chatting with minors is already disturbing enough. But what's even scarier is that there are absolutely no real consequences for people like him. Despite everything, scamming hundreds of people, running a fraudulent company, and even openly admitting to selling drugs, he's still out there, doing whatever he wants. No legal repercussions, no accountability, nothing. However, things were about to take a much darker turn for Viper. For years, he got away with his scams, his creepy online behavior, and his shady business dealings. But then, serious allegations began to surface, accusations of kidnapping, sexual assault, and much worse. This is where the story goes from bizarre to outright horrifying. We've finally reached the part of the video that you've all been waiting for, the moment where Viper's actions caught up with him in the most shocking way possible. In April of 2023, a Houston police officer responded to Lee Carter's home in southeast Houston after a woman texted 911 using a laptop and said she was being held against her will. According to a CNN article, officers said they arrived at the home, pried open the garage door, and discovered a makeshift toilet that did not flush and a mattress covered with fresh vomit, along with diapers, snack chips, and Twinkies. Police said the garage had a lock on the inside that needed a key to be opened. The woman wore filthy clothes, appeared malnourished, and weighed about 70 pounds. She told the police she had not showered in 2 months and survived on chips and other snacks. She said she had contacted 911 by using a texting app on Carter's laptop. Now, there is a lot to unpack here because this report was made in April 2023, and Viper wasn't arrested until January 8th, 2024 for the alleged kidnapping. According to this woman, it all started when Viper saw her panhandling about 5 years ago in Houston. She was also pregnant at the time. She told the police that Viper offered $1 and asked if she needed any help. She said yes, and Viper took her to his house, and since then, he has kept her locked in the garage.
A man is charged with holding a woman against her will for years. Lee Carter arrested last week, and for the first time we are hearing from him. Carter, who is currently out on bond, walked into the courtroom this morning but did not appear in front of a judge. Instead, prosecutors say he was put on house arrest and will wear a GPS ankle monitor as part of his bond condition. The 52-year-old is charged with aggravated kidnapping. Investigators say the victim claims that she was pregnant and panhandling years ago when Carter gave her $1, offered her a ride, took her to his home in Southeast Houston, and allegedly held her hostage for years, forcing her to take drugs and sexually assaulting her. Claims Carter denies.
This is my son's mother, so this is not a stranger. But I'm innocent.
But Viper kept denying these allegations, and soon he was out of jail on a $100,000 bond. According to Viper's attorney, the situation is very different from what it seems to be.
They've been together for years in a mutually consensual relationship.
They say she was just 70 pounds when she was rescued. But Carter's attorney claims the woman has never been missing or in danger.
He did not kidnap anyone. The complaining witness has had some mental history issues.
But things didn't look so good for Viper. The news even interviewed a landscaper who Viper had hired, and he said he had been cleaning an immense amount of filth from the house, which was very suspicious to him.
That's what I'm going back and rewinding everything. I'm like, that's why it was so bad. That's why I was feeling like that.
Desmond Moore is a landscaper. He says he worked at this home in Southeast Houston for months and says he cleaned up unimaginable filth.
Because I feel like he used me just to keep him, out the limelight. Because if I keep cleaning up the property,
his employer.
But there is a lot more to this story than you think. While Viper is very much capable of doing something like this, there is still something fishy about the story. For starters, the woman claims that she was pregnant when she was kidnapped by Viper. So if she gave birth to the baby while locked in that garage, where's that baby now? Also, the woman said that she was kidnapped by Viper almost 5 years ago, but Viper has lived and owned the house for no more than 2 years. Viper also claims that she is not a homeless stranger, but his son's mother.
This is not a stranger, but I'm innocent. I've only lived in the house and owned it for 13 months.
Upon contacting Viper's wife, she told the authorities that Viper and the woman had been in a consensual relationship in the past, and all of this was apparently over him not giving drugs to her. According to CNN, on January 24th, Carter was accused of violating his bond on his initial kidnapping charge by reaching out to the woman he kidnapped after he was released from jail. Carter allegedly called her while she was being interviewed at a hospital by 2 Houston Police Department detectives. The detectives heard Carter's voice on speakerphone, according to the complaint. A nurse at the hospital also told detectives she had heard and spoken with Carter on the phone. The complaint also alleges that Carter told the woman what she should say to hospital staff and detectives, and that he had planned for her to stay at his apartment so she could testify in his behalf at a bond hearing. But there's more to come, because on February 19th, 2024, Viper was charged for kidnapping and sexually assaulting another woman in 2021. Honestly, this is all horrible. But there is something else that's completely chilling about the entire story. The fact that only a few days after the news of Viper's alleged kidnapping, the dead body of a 61-year-old woman was found in the same garage where he kept the woman. According to NBC News, the body of Catherine Roberts, 61, was recovered on July 5th from the Perry Street home. Roberts had been living in the converted garage where authorities say the pregnant woman had been held. Roberts died from alcoholic liver disease and hepatitis C, complicated by internal bleeding, according to medical examiner's records. However, Viper wasn't charged for her death since it wasn't ruled a homicide. Despite this, one can't help but feel that something much more and truly horrible happened in that garage. Viper's story is one of madness, manipulation, and sheer depravity. From being an internet oddity with his bizarre music and delusional rants, to becoming an accused predator and criminal, his descent has been both disturbing and inevitable. While some details of these cases may still be unfolding, what's undeniable is that Viper has long exhibited the behavior of someone capable of such horrific acts. His history of scamming, predatory tendencies, and unhinged outbursts all painted a picture of a man who had no regard for morality, boundaries, or the law. Now, with the weight of these serious allegations against him, it seems that Viper's bizarre internet legacy is the least of his worries. His music may have once been a joke, but his crimes are anything but. Carter has been held in the Harris County Jail since January 25th. His bond was denied on the first aggravated kidnapping charge, was $200,000 on the bond violation charge, and was still pending on the most recent charges. This is all we have of Viper today. If you stayed with us this far into the video, please leave a comment down below to let us know what you think about it. What do you think happened in that garage? Did Viper really kidnap a pregnant woman? And if yes, what happened to the baby? And if not, why was she locked in that garage?